Thanks for listening to Live Forever Young Radio. Did you know that as you age, you naturally lose muscle mass? Today on the show, Bob and Rollie talk about the importance of maintaining and building muscle mass, especially as you get older. They discuss the most common reasons for muscle loss and what problems it can cause for your health and activity levels. Bob and Rollie also identify some easy exercises you can do to maintain and build muscle, as well as what you can add to your diet to help build and prevent muscle loss. So sit back, relax, and get ready to live forever young.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live Forever Young Radio. I'm Bob. I'm here with Rollie.
Hey,
welcome,
bud.
Rollie.
How's it going?
Great. I see today, in honor of the Tampa Bay Lightning hockey team, on their quest for the three-peat for the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
And your hat is for the Super Bowl champs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Mix and match.
Also now on their quest for winning the Super Bowl the second year in a row.
It always matches when you're champions.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter the color. It just matters that you're the champions.
You're a champ. It's champions are colorblind.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, one of the things that you have to perform, like we always talk about at a high level, is muscles, right? And so one of the things that we wanted to talk about today was the importance of muscle mass and maintaining it and actually building it as you get older. Because a lot of people don't really realize this, but you only gain muscle up until about your 30s, right?
About 30 years old.
Right?
Yeah.
And then so what happens after that?
Well, you start to lose muscle right after that. By the time you're 50, it's about 15% of it is gone, or between 10 and 15%.
Unless you're Tom Brady.
Yeah,
unless you're Tom Brady.
is gone. And then every decade thereafter, you lose about 10% more. So
that's crazy.
By the time you get to be older, you're going to have lost a lot of muscle. And this is not good because, you know, you're going to end up having bad posture, right? Along with a lot of other things we'll talk about in a minute.
Right.
But the way that losing muscle mass occurs is as you age, okay, your mitochondria don't work as well. And your mitochondria produce energy, which gives power to all your metabolic pathways, including the pathway that makes muscle.
Right.
Right. And so when you start losing mitochondria, or they start working less efficiently in your muscle cells, that's what's going to happen. And that happens to the mitochondria all over your body.
Right.
Right.
But especially, you know, in the muscles, where the main thing is when to create new cells. Creating new cells means creation of new tissue. And if those cells that are being created aren't being created properly, then the tissue that they're forming, which would be muscle here, it's formed with abnormalities.
Yeah. And it'll have, you know, SNPs in your DNA.
Right.
But also,
talk about those.
When you replace muscle cells, you're doing it with stem cells. So stem cells that are being released from your bone marrow are becoming muscle cells.
Oh.
But as you age, you make less of those adult stem cells.
That's right. We talked about that in a podcast we did with Ann Harrison called The Importance of Stem Cell Nutrition.
Right, exactly. So at the very end, when we talk about the nutrients that people need to maintain their muscle mass, we'll talk about a special product that helps with your stem cells.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Yeah. And so, you know, when you start to lose muscle, not only are you going to have poor posture, which is really bad. Poor posture really drags you down, right? Because usually your head is lower, you're not looking up, you're not looking at people, and it's pulling on your muscles. As you get poor posture, your neck muscles pull on your back muscles.
Yeah, I mean,
pull them out of whack.
You see, I hate to, you know, it's a good example, but you see older people who are older at the grocery store, and a lot of the times they're over their cart, using their cart, and they're like, oh my, you know, that's got to hurt.
And their balance is poor, and they have risk of falls, right? Probably the most important thing is as you lose muscle, you also lose bone density. So now if you fall because you don't have good posture and good balance because you've lost muscle, you fall, you're likely to break a bone. Right?
I remember when my grandma, she was having her house repainted, and the guys laid out the plastic drop cloths. And she was still doing pretty well. She was maybe in her 60s, but she she heard the phone ring, is what it was. The phone rang, and she come running around the corner and didn't see the drop cloth and tripped on it. And that's actually I think that was the first time she broke her hip. I think she was in her 60s. And that was, you think about it, she was pretty strong, even for 65 at that point. She's running around the corner. She's in good shape. So even if you have a good amount of muscle, you're still, as you get older, your bones get more brittle, and they aren't quite as dense. So
the less muscle you have,
the
more brittle your bones are going to be.
That's what I was going to say. I could imagine if you're much less muscle, you would have much more brittle bones, which is not a good combo.
Yeah. You also, Rollie, have a diminished mood, meaning your normal good mood that is based on your capability to get up and about and do things, right? You probably are going to have issues with being in a good mood, being happy and feeling productive and like you're contributing. It can have a bad effect on your self-esteem.
It makes sense. I mean, if you're not feeling good because you're all hunched over and your muscles are...
So here's the good news. We know exactly what to do.
Well, right.
So you can gain back your muscle.
We wouldn't go over all that if we didn't have an answer.
That's right. So you can begin to gain back muscle faster than you would tend to lose it, right? So if you're going to lose 10% a decade, that's 1% a year. But if you do the following things we're about to say, you can gain back muscle 3 times as fast.
There you go.
Right. And so over time, you'll begin to gain on revitalizing yourself back to the level where you were at a much younger age.
Right. I mean, I'd imagine the first place to start was just try to stop living a sedentary life, right? I mean, of course, we talk about exercising in a second, but just start trying to not sit on the couch as long, right? Try to take small steps to get more active, right? Right. That's the first.
And so the good thing about that, Rollie, is we've done a podcast in the past on habits, developing new habits.
Habits to help seize the day. Check it out.
Right. And that
for every young radio.
That can be very helpful in getting into moving around more and exercising, right? And so you want to be able to do some resistance exercise. Now, that simply means you're going to be moving your joints using your muscles through a range of motion. For example, curling your arm up, okay, with some type of resistance, whether it's a stretch band that you're stretching or it's a weight that you're using to use as a weight.
Or it could even be an old Boomer Boost bottle.
A Boomer Boost bottle that has run out and you filled it with
Fill
rocks.
it up with some sand or some rocks.
Rocks. Exactly.
See?
You can even do an isometric exercise where you take one hand, place it and put pressure on the hand you're going to curl up and push against that resistance, right? That'll exercise your tricep in one arm
feels like
while you're exercising the bicep in the other. And then switch, you're doing arm wrestling with yourself.
You're arm wrestling with yourself, exactly. Yeah.
All right? And so this is...
sorry.
So you can do also other body weight exercises, which like push-ups. Now, if you have to start from your knees and do it against the wall.
I was just going to say, against the wall is really good if you can't do it on the floor at first, because you're still getting that resistance from the wall to the arm to the chest. Is very helpful.
All of that will help you to build muscle. And then here's this thing about working out. So, Rollie, how they say the strongest people are the people who are farmer strong.
Right.
Okay. So what is a farmer doing? They're working every day. Maybe not on Sunday, but 6 days a week they're working. What are they doing? They're moving around, picking up a bale of hay, maybe lifting up an attachment to their tractor, putting it onto the hitch. Nothing where...
Digging for fence posts.
Yeah. Nothing where they're working out to complete fatigue, where they're exhausted, and now they can't work for 3 days.
Right.
Okay. Every day they're doing some type of resistance exercise, squatting down, getting back up, using a hoe to hoe the fields, whatever it is. Okay.
And it's varied too. It's not always the same thing. So you're using a bunch of different muscle groups.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And so what you want to avoid is, all right, I'm going to the gym and I'm going to work out till I'm totally exhausted, and then I'm going to take 2 days off.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
You're way better off if you go and do a light workout and go back again the next day and do a light workout and maybe on the third day, do just a little bit more, and slowly over time, increase your resistance.
Gotcha.
Okay. And these are the basics. You also want to do some cardio. There's a really great one called Peak 8.
Yes, you told me about that before the show.
The number 8 means 8 repetitions. So this is something you're going to do 8 times and no more.
Okay.
And what it is you're going to walk. Now you can either walk, run, pedal on a bicycle, on a rowing machine, whatever it is that's going to give you cardiovascular exercise.
Gotcha.
And you're going to do 8 repetitions, and each repetition is going to last for 2 minutes.
Okay.
And it's going to be 90 seconds, which is a minute and a half, of very light exercise, followed by 30 seconds of a burst of intense exercise. So imagine that I am going for a walk, and I walk for about 5 minutes to get warmed up, and then I'm going to walk really fast for 30 seconds. Okay. Now, just count to yourself. 1, 2,
count your
3, 4, right? And then when 30 seconds is up, you will then walk slowly for the next 90 seconds. You can have a stopwatch with you, just regular watch.
I count your steps.
Or count your steps. You'll need to figure out how many steps is 90 seconds,
right?
And how many, because you're going to be taking faster steps when it's 30 seconds.
Right.
You'll need to calibrate this for yourself.
That's true. Yeah,
and some people can walk faster than others.
That's true.
Right? So have a stopwatch with you or a watch.
Your phone. Everybody's got an iWatch or an iPhone.
Have that for the first time and figure out how many fast steps is 30 seconds, how many slow steps is 90 seconds.
Okay, cool,
right?
cool.
Now, it doesn't have to be perfect. That's the other good news. If you want to start and go, I'm going to walk real fast for a little bit, boom, seems like about a half a minute. Now, for about 3 times that much time, I'm going to walk slow.
Right.
This is called Peak 8. When you've done that 8 times, 8 30-second bursts, followed by 8 90-second slow, now you've done the exercise.
And then you just kind of, after that, you just kind of have a warm down
and you're done with your cardio.
Cool.
Now, the reason you want to do it this way is when you do, your body releases more human growth hormone.
Okay.
Now, human growth hormone will help you build muscle.
Yes, it will.
Right? So you're going to do some resistance exercise in your peak 8. Now your HGH goes up and you'll build more muscle faster.
Nice. The natural way to release that
is peak 8.
Peak 8.
Yep.
I didn't
30,
realize
90,
that.
30, 90, 30, 90.
And there's a lot of bodybuilders that want to know that secret.
Yeah. And it's getting very popular.
I believe it.
Some very famous doctors have been promoting it on their podcasts.
And I think kind of what you were saying too about kind of peak 8 and with the way that farmers work is you want to work smart, not long.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, you don't want to work to the point of exhaustion because then you're not going to be good for the next day or two. You got to have a recovery day. But what if you could work, like you said, just smartly, something you can handle and work your way up. So that way you can do a little bit every day as opposed to one big day and then a couple days off. That's not good for the consistency.
It's also more likely you'll hurt yourself.
That's true too.
That kind of thing. So then, Rollie, that's the exercise piece.
Right.
There's also a big diet component, obviously, to building muscle.
Yeah.
Bodybuilders go through elaborate routines to build more muscle.
Yes,
but for us, it's going to be a couple of simple things. Look at your diet and where your sugars are. And if you want to know where your hidden sugars are, do a search on the internet for hidden sugars, right? Or get the book called The Sugar Impact Diet.
By J.J. Virgin.
J.J. Virgin.
One of our favorites.
Really great diet consultant that helps people see where the hidden sugars are and how to replace them.
And how to eliminate them and replace them.
Yeah. And essentially you want to replace them with good fats, right?
Exactly.
So one of the things I do, Rollie, is I drink bulletproof coffee.
Yeah.
Right? Very popular thing Dave Asprey brought about maybe 10 years ago. And it's basically your coffee is put into a blender with good fats.
Right. MCT oils and stuff.
MCT oil stands for mid-chain triglycerides, palm oil, coconut oil, and then you can put organic grass-fed butter in, which has good fats, and you can, put other things also that have good fats.
You know what I started giving my daughter because we were trying to look in ways to get good fats into her diet, and we started doing avocado toast.
Yeah.
So in the morning we just toast up some toast, smash up the avocado, spread it on there like cream cheese or butter, and she actually likes it with chia seeds on top.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I usually use those to just grow those little things with the hair on them, but
Yeah.
she likes to eat them. I didn't even know you could eat them. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Hey.
But yeah, it's good. Avocado toast. She gets the good fats. It helps her out a lot and helps her stay
exactly.
regular
So
and build muscle as a little kid, you know.
that's just a general tip on how to quickly alter your diet.
Sure.
Right? Last thing, Rollie, is the first thing usually people think about is supplements.
Right.
Okay?
That's the first thing they reach
And
for.
you know, there's thousands of studies about bone density and building muscle.
Right.
Everything from, amino acids and,
Proteins and
L-carnitine,
Right.
et cetera, protein shakes and all that. But for your bones, the main things you need is vitamin D,
right.
the sunshine vitamin,
Very
which
important.
we've done a podcast about.
Yes, it's called The Real Deal with vitamin D.
Yep.
Get the
We
secrets.
also vitamin K, calcium, and magnesium. Now, if you have those things together, all right, you're going to be able to keep the strength of your bones, which is one of the main things that is a difficulty with muscle loss.
Right.
So make sure that you have those for keeping your bones strong. And then in order to build muscle is built with protein.
Right.
Okay? Protein is built with amino acids with metabolic enzymes.
Right.
So amino acids are little chains of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and they are spliced together with these enzymes, which are also made of the same thing. And they're made into these beautiful, elaborate proteins, some of which make your muscles.
Cool.
Right? And so we have a product called Gladiator Barley,
Right.
which is known very well for helping people gain muscle quickly and a lot of it.
It's actually legendary. It's
Yeah.
what the gladiators used to eat. That's why it's called gladiator barley back in the Roman times. Man.
Yeah.
They actually had a steady diet of it. And when they found gladiator bones years later, they were actually denser in archaeological digs, obviously. They were denser than the normal the normal people of the time. So it actually has some really cool stuff. When they did the research on it, they found that a lot of it had to do with what they were eating, being barley.
And gladiators were legendary for their strength, their muscular strength, and their bone strength.
Right.
And the amino acids and the metabolic enzymes that you need to build muscle are in the gladiator barley product.
Yeah, and most people don't realize, there's a lot of products out there that they make, not just for muscle building, but for fundamental nutrition and overall health. But a lot of those don't have I've never really seen one that has any metabolic enzymes. And those are the enzymes that rebuild, right?
Right.
We've got digestive enzymes, sure, you take those, but the metabolic enzymes is very unique. And the barley, because of the way it's sprouted, it releases, you said, well over 4,000 metabolic enzymes.
Right. They're created from the DNA of the barley.
Correct.
Right? And so they're preserved and they're in this powder form. And to the point, Rollie, where when we have people that call us that are going through chemotherapy for various diseases, cancer and other things, okay, quite often what happens is they begin to lose muscle weight very quickly. And in fact, about 60% of the people that die who have cancer are actually dying from muscle wasting.
Yes.
So Gladiator Barley was created for people like that needed really intense help to maintain their muscle and gain muscle.
Yeah, firsthand experience, actually. My aunt just recently, actually, is recovering from cancer. I mentioned on a couple of shows ago she got throat cancer. And when she told me that, I started telling her and making sure she got the barley and started taking it. And the doctors were really surprised at two things. How fast she was able to get her treatments done, because she was able to get her treatments done without taking a break. She didn't miss any. Actually, she didn't have to take her last 3 treatments, actually, because she was able to get through it.
Get them close together.
Correct.
Strong treatments.
Exactly. She was able to get them closer and stronger together. And the doctors were amazed at how fast she was able to get it done. And she took barley the whole time.
Yeah.
And she when she was close, she said, Rollie, I need you to send me some of that barley, because that's, I think, is what's helping me get through. She didn't change much else. Actually, she wasn't eating because it was throat cancer, so it hurt.
Yeah.
So one of the few things she could take was the barley, because you can mix it with water and drink it. And she was using the Boomer Boost at the time too.
Yeah.
So she swears by it. It helped her out. And yeah, you actually see her now compared to before, and she's, normally you see people that are real thin, but she's still got the same mass that she had.
Yeah.
So it was really firsthand experience. It really helps.
Yeah.
It really helps with that.
I'm so happy to hear about that, Rollie.
Yeah.
And so happy that all of you joined us on Live Forever Young Radio. Thank you very much. We will see you on the next show.
Thanks for listening to Live Forever Young Radio. Check us out at liveforeveryoungradio.com.